1. An approach to dialectics through philosophy. Dialectics has been studied traditionally as Hegel's philosophy. However, this philosophy and logic were based upon achievements of our knowledge up to the beginning of the 19th century. 200 years have passed since. Arthur Clarke was saying in 1960s that our knowledge doubles every 10 years. But what about dialectics? Witness Evald Ilyenkov's writing on dialectics. Witness Andy Blanden's writing on the same subject. They all repeat the stale truths that have since turned into falsehoods. Let's quickly review achievements of dialectics from and including Hegel. 1. Hegel's Dialectics. Dialectics is revealed in the course of occupation with different branches of knowledge. Hence, it would be a mistake to tie oneself to philosophy, for example, and not be extending ourselves to other modes of knowledge, if we are honest about formulating the general laws of truth, which is another definition of dialectics. Hegel knew this well. For example, when he studied art or history, he was not in the domain of philosophy in the narrow sense, so typical of academic professional philosophers. Well, let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God. You can never formulate theory of everything unless you actually attempt to study everything. A. General characteristics of the truth. 1. The truth is not a collection of separate things, related to each other in a superficial way, as chalk and cheese. It has the character of a developed concept. Hence, it is necessary to sink into the life of a concept to follow where it will lead. This is an infinite road. 2. The truth is in the process of development. It is not a definite result. Any result or conclusion is incomprehensible and useless if it does not involve us in the process of its growth. Observe a typical lecture, and you will see boredom, as the lecture does not involve the audience. Only the process that involves the audience, as for example the dialectical method of Socrates, gets one involved in the process of bringing the result into the world. If this is applied to science and technology, the students must perform experiments which lead them to see the point which the teacher is trying to make. Or if this is a purely theoretical course, they must be sufficiently interested to go on their own to research the topic in ways not foreseen by the teacher, as children often do. 3. The truth consists in the process of destruction of differences. These differences may be between the man and the woman, between the social classes, between our ideas and the way the things really are, which is the process of learning. 4. There is no hard and fast difference between the false and the true. The false and the true not only contradict one another, but are also the necessary for existence of each other. A revolution leads to restoration, and restoration explodes in a series of new revolutions. 5. The truth is not only an object but also a subject. In other words, the universe should be grasped both as matter, which is in the process of development, and as the conscious process which seeks to understand this development. It seeks self-consciousness. History is not only an objective, faraway and distant process, but also the very process of learning about it. History is both what happened and the historian involved in the process of learning about it. In fact, it is more of the latter than of the former, as every history is more a reflection of the times when it was written. Hence, the best history is written by those who were actually involved in the events they describe. 6. The truth has the character of the unity of opposites. For example, such term as the concept does not mean a simple idea, but is a synthesis of the categories of being and essence. Every human being is a product of his or her mother and father in many ways. A real thinker must train his or her body every day, for it is not possible to think strongly in a weak frame. Witness the statue of Rodin. 7. As every matter is a unity of opposites, the degree to which the opposites shape the matter changes over time. In simple terms, if A and B shape C, the proportion to which A and B shape C changes over time. In the beginning, A may dominate, but later B may become the main force. Thus, an axiom of Marxian materialism, matter determines consciousness, is one-sided and hence false. In reality, they both determine each other. In some cases matter playing the dominant role, and in others consciousness taking over the stern. 8. The truth, like light, has a dual character. On the one hand, the commonplace notion. It is a correspondence of consciousness to the object which it studies. In other words, if the thing in itself is 4, and our consciousness has produced the same result 4, then we say that we have the truth, or the answer is true. The other aspect of the truth is, in a sense, the very opposite of this commonplace notion. It is the correspondence of object to the notion of it. Thus, if an engineer has in mind some device which she or he wants to create, the truth is technology and knowledge achieving that which the engineer has had in mind. This is the more difficult to achieve and hence more valuable sense of the truth. 9. The problem of what is the truth can be reformulated as the problem of what is knowledge. Knowledge is the entire reality in the form of a concept. Hence, theory of knowledge is properly theory of the entire reality, that is, the entire universe with its many galaxies and all within them, emphasizing the process of learning about this reality. Compare this to what is served today as epistemology. 10. One of the participants of the seminar on Hegel which I tried to organize in late 1990s in Ukraine, defined truth as a personal understanding of that which is reality, an understanding which changes with time. Here we get the following characteristics. First, the truth is necessarily a synthesis of the subjective and the objective, of our consciousness and the outside world. Second, the truth changes with time. 1. Because there is a constant development of consciousness. And 2. The external world also changes. Hence, the truth has a fluid character because of the changing nature of consciousness and the objective world. Truth is like river flowing to the sea, and you cannot step into the same river twice. 11. It is possible to say that there are minor truths and there is a truth with capital T. The former are the separate little problems in the process of their resolution. The latter is the process of unified knowledge of all there is. A technician is concerned with the former, a philosopher with the latter. In the process of development, we develop or should develop from being technicians to becoming philosophers. Hegel puts it in the phrase, only the absolute is the truth. And this is outdated in the age which has seen the theory of relativity, that is, the idea that motion is relative. But what Hegel is trying to say, that only the entirety of knowledge has the privilege of being called the truth with capital T. To raise ourselves to the highest, that is the point of development.